triumphal entrance. But neither triumph lasted long. Solomon's kingship created fearful anxieties, according to chapter 1. In Jesus, he was crucified the very next day. You see, triumphal entrances and Calvary's crosses are the result of the increasing fragrant knowledge of Christ. He who leads us in triumph will also lead us to victory through the trials. The victory, however, is completely dependent upon the fragrant knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. I'm Mark Hamby.
You've been listening to A Lamplighter Moment. More biblical insights are available at www.lamplighter.net.
Broadcasting from the Washington, D.C. studios of the National Right to Life Committee, this is Pro-Life Perspective, America's pro-life voice. And now, here's National Right to Life President and Pro-Life Perspective host, Carol Tobias.
Yesterday, I began sharing with you excerpts from an opinion piece from Atanu Day, an economist in California, who writes on the economic hardships suffered by Indian families forced to have female children. The article, titled Why Indian Parents Should Be Allowed to Choose Whether to Have Girls, opposes the government protection of unborn baby girls who would otherwise be aborted simply for being female. His circular logic is dizzying as he argues that when parents don't have the right to abort unborn baby girls, the girls may be killed outside the womb. Therefore, for the sake of the baby girls, we must brutally kill them in the womb. The inches between infanticide and late abortion are minuscule, yet he characterizes one as tragic and one as a right granted parents through the gift of technology. Mr. Day continues, government interference in the personal lives of people is nothing remarkable or new for India, so the denial of reproductive rights to women in India should not come as a surprise. This, however, is a particularly heartless move. It condemns too many girls to lives of great misery and to some to a death penalty for the crime of being born a girl. Just so we're Yet Mr. Day continues, forcing people to have children of an undesired sex is an infringement of parental rights. The parents have the responsibility of bringing up their children, not the government. It can be argued that a skewed sex ratio is not good for society. The question then is which of the two, forcing people to go through with unwanted pregnancies or a skewed sex ratio, is less harmful to society? The answer to that is not a foregone conclusion. The preference for boys over girls is a rational response to the prevailing social and economic conditions. Preferences change gradually, and that, too, only when conditions change. Parents' preferential desire for male children is not a technical problem, and the use of technology to fulfill that desire does not make it into one. Indeed, any attempted technical solution can be circumvented. People determined enough figure out workarounds which are usually technical. Technology provides tools which are always neutral, although economic agents using them are motivated by ends to which one may attach moral values. Those who want to use technology to limit human freedom are naturally opposed to those who use it to increase their choices. By restricting information which may be useful for parents to make an informed choice whether or not to have a female child, the government is sacrificing the right of a child to a decent life in order to protect the rights of a fetus. If people cannot avoid having girls that they do not want, they will be forced to have more children to reach their desired number of sons, and to ration their resources to the detriment of girls. Rational responses to economic circumstances, poverty, cannot be averted by government mandate. Indeed, it can be argued that the prevailing poverty itself has much to do with government mandates. In the end, in the contest between the people and the government, the drive for freedom proves to be stronger and eventually overcomes the forces that seek to limit freedom. The government will fail in this case as well, as it must for the sake of the girls. Mr. Day's enlightening editorial shows just how far extreme pro-abortionists will go to protect what they see as the absolute right to abortion worldwide. His central premise that because the Indian culture values males more, people should be able to abort girls for being girls, abandons all hope that we can restore a culture that respects life as a gift from God. For the sake of all girls, we must continue the fight to protect all life. For more information, visit www.prolifeperspective.com.
Meanwhile, the older son was in the field working. When he returned home, he heard music and dancing in the house. Dancing. Not a Baptist house.
Oh, that's right. They were dancing. They were having fun. Why in the world is that a sin in so many people's eyes? Man, you and I, we have joy in our heart, a spring in our step. I guess some people call it dancing. Hey, you know what? I believe when we stand before Him, we're going to dance. We're going to sing a new song, so why not have something to dance about? Big shout out today to my friends, Life FM, Auckland, New Zealand. By the way, how come y'all have never had me in Auckland, New Zealand? Give me a call, y'all. This is Jamie Regal. For real, for real.
Would you like to hear more from Jamie Regal? Visit reachtheplanet.org to learn about forgiving yourself. That's reachtheplanet.org.
Gospel, united to save. It's the Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view. With your host, Nikki B, featuring open discussion, event spotlight, and special guests. Tune in weekdays for the midday show at 3:30 p.m. The Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view. With your host, Nikki B, right here on this station.
This commercial is sponsored by Rhythmic Gospel Network.
Let's go. No wife, no kid, no family, no friends, no hope, no peace, no will to live, no one but God. Help me to see when times get hard. He's all I need. These words you hear are what I live. My blood, my sweat, my pain, my tears. The only thing I feel is a life without Christ. This ain't music I write. This is my life. So the world wanna know who's this new dude. Proof where I may be new to you and the music I do is definitely different than what you used to. But ain't nothing new about the hell I've been through. I done stepped off the edge, been ready to die, been tested under pressure and tried by fire. See, grandma always told me go to God for your help, but things work best when you learn them for yourself. So I had to lose it all, had to take a few falls with my back against the wall. I learned to trust God and He prepared me for battle, surrounded by doubters. But I ain't mad at them, I'm thankful that I had them. So hey, haters, I couldn't have made it without you. Refused to lose even when I wanted to. Had to go through paying my dues. Now I am proof of what God can do. No wife, no kids, no family.
Yeah, undisputed proof. Right here on Guts Gospel United to Save. And if you'd like to know more about Undisputed Proof, well, you can join us on Friday, November 9th. He'll be with us at the Fort Lauderdale Church of God in Christ, 744 Northwest 12th Avenue in the city of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Or you can listen up on November 10th at 10:30 a.m. right here on Guts Gospel United to Save. And you'll hear the interview where we're talking with Undisputed Proof. Hopefully you'll all join in. The number to call, 877-217-5375. That's 877-217-5375. Do thank God for each and every one of you tuning into the broadcast and being a part of what God is doing right here and right now, and that you are determined to have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. Spread the gospel everywhere you go. Be a witness as only you can, for your life is an epistle being read of men. And we do thank God for you all tuning into the broadcast. We're in a series, and in our series, we're talking about Paul, who sails to Rome and survives a shipwreck. Yes, that's right. A shipwreck. He survives. As a matter of fact, everybody survives. God protects and keeps everyone. So here we are, and we're at verses 33 through 38 in the book of Acts, chapter 27. And while the day was coming on, Paul besought them all to take meat, saying, This day is the 14th day that ye have tarried and continued fasting, having taken nothing. Wherefore I pray you to take some meat, for this is for your health. For there shall not an hair fall from the head of any of you. And when he had thus spoken, he took bread and gave thanks to God in presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. They were all of good cheer, and they took some meat. And we were in all the ship 260 souls. And when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and cast out the wheat unto the sea. Yeah, time to get rid of those things that are going to weigh you down. You're in danger and you're in trouble. Don't keep those things that are going to keep you weighed down. Get into something that'll help you survive. So as daybreak approached, the storm ferocity had not let up. Yes, the sailors tried to desert the ship and leave its passengers to fend for themselves. Nobody had eaten for 14 days. Here, fasting refers to the lack of appetite or available food. Perhaps the waves and rain had run down into the ship's hold and soaked into its stores, spoiling most of its food. Perhaps conditions were so tempestuous that the cooking became impossible in its galley. Ancient writers hardly mention seasickness, but Luke may have viewed this as a given. For whatever reason, when things reached their worst, God's love for others showed through Paul's concern for the shipload of pagans. Paul's selfless action on his way to trial before Caesar and possible execution gave witness with a trustworthy integrity. He besought or urged his fellow passengers that eating was essential for their survival. This was not Paul's first effort at persuading the crew, the prisoners, and the other passengers to eat, nor was it his first assurance of their survival. He supported this first appeal by by relating the appearance of an angel from God, promising Paul's appearance before Caesar and other survival of all on board. But with the ship's eventual crash upon the island, likely only Paul's concern for the well-being of the others on board saved him from being thrown overboard like Jonah. The apostle began at first lecture about eating by saying basically, I told you so. In Acts 27 verse 20, Luke admits all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. For 2 weeks, 276 other seafarers observed how Paul confronted their shared life and death struggle with the storm. The steadfast certainty of Paul's faith comforted them. While the storm rocked the ship, Paul took some bread and held it, thanked God, before eating it. His example renewed the courage of the onlooking shipmates who followed his example by eating. When everyone's hunger was satisfied, everyone thought more clearly, including the captain and the ship's owner. The time had come to focus on saving their lives more than on saving the ship and its cargo. So they lightened the ship to make it float higher in the water by throwing overboard the ship's cargo of wheat, which was doubtlessly intended for sale in Rome. By doing so, they lessened the chances that the ship would run aground too far out for survivors to make it to shore. They accepted Paul's prophecy that God's will was for them to survive the ship's destruction. They were prepared to listen to him then. So after Paul had urged his travel mates to eat, what did they do with the remains? After they eat enough, they threw the remaining food off of the ship. That's right. Get your fill and then get rid of it, because it's not going to help you. It's only going to hinder you. By the way, you're tuned into Guts Gospel United Saved, bringing the information needed for transformation within South Florida and all over the world. A variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V. Until next time, have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. We'll be right back after this. Call in 877-217-5375. That's 877-217-5375.
Let's face it, losing a loved one is hard, and the grief that is put on your family can be troublesome. We strive to make the hardest time of you and your family's life the easiest. We want your loved one to be sent off the best way possible with only your interests at heart. Let's allow the bereaved to breathe easy by calling Fuller Brothers Funeral Home 954-366-3758. That's 954-366-3758. Life goes on, but live easy knowing that your loved one is in a better place with Fuller Brothers Funeral Home 954-366-3758. Let Fuller Brothers family take care of your family. 1805 North Dixie Highway. The number again, 954-366-3758.
United to save. It's the Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view. With your host, Nikki B, featuring open discussion, event spotlights,